Hello and welcome to Tara Smith's Kitchen. I am Tara Smith, and if you look at the top of the chat, I have put links to my Patreon and to my Discord. I am Tara Smith, and I can turn down my phone and if I ever remember to do that. But there's a link to my Patreon, there's a link to my Discord in the chat. If you join my Discord, please read the rules. There are certain things that will get you banned real quick. But please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, all that good stuff. And I'm going to be cooking chicken and rice today. And I'm going to do shrimp etouffee. Shrimp etouffee is going to use a box for the base. But I'm doing the chicken and rice completely from scratch. And I'm probably going to do cornbread. I might make them in like little cornbread muffins or something like that. And let me know you're in the chat. Say hi, leave a comment, what have you. And we're going to get started. And I am going to melt a half a stick of butter, 4 tablespoons, or a half a cup. All that math we said we'd never use growing up. And we're not using the Trinity today. We're using the Maripois, however you want to pronounce it. Don't ask me. All I know is it's celery and carrots and onion, and I have some garlic. The real difference there is swap out carrots for bell pepper, and you got garlic and that sort of thing. But I have 1 large sweet onion. I've got about 4, not too large, sticks of celery diced up, or not diced, chopped up. You can see how they are right there. And I have 4 of the skinnier onion carrots ready to go right there. Getting tongue-tied here. And we are going to cook that down in butter. As soon as we get this melted, we will start. Trying to look on the camera. So, Charger, how are you doing? Hola, ¿cómo estás? I am doing fine. I'm doing fine. Yaksimas. Ahoy. Dobre večer. You can speak any language you want on my channel. Leave a message in whatever language. Doesn't bother me. We're also going to cook rice. I have my spices over there. We're probably going to use about a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half of basil. And I've got ground mustard. I have bay leaves. And the ground mustard, the thyme, I've got parsley and oregano. I'm probably going to use about a half a teaspoon of those. We're going to add in soy sauce. What am I smelling? And hot sauce, if I can find some. You don't have to put hot sauce in it. And it doesn't make it hot. It just adds to the flavor. I thought I had some Tabasco, and I don't exactly know where it is. I don't know where a lot of things are. But that's just me. I was for sure I had it up here, but I don't see it, so I guess it's not up there. And of course, salt, always season to taste. Taste your food, taste your batter, taste all of that. You always taste it. Oh, and I have 3 garlic cloves that I smashed and minced up. We're going to start with the onion. And the carrot. And the celery. And you can use chicken breast, you can use a rotisserie chicken, you can use all sorts of things. Let me check my Rumble. Yes, Rumble is going cool. If you're on Rumble, the reason my phone is on over here is I have the chat pulled up because it doesn't pull up on StreamYard. We are going to cook this down. And 4 tablespoons or a half a cup of butter. You can use olive oil, you can use whatever. I happen to be using butter. So that is what we are using. Have something else cooking in the crock pot back there. You've been dealing with back pain. So have I. That's another reason I wasn't on my bike this weekend. A lot of stress, a lot of everything. My back's hurting, all that good stuff. We are going to cook this down. Then I'm going to add some seasoning to it. And I'm going to add the garlic. I'm going to add some seasoning. And we're going to add the chicken. I don't know if I'm going to use all the chicken I bought. I might use some for something else. But generally, the packs have just a little bit too much chicken in them. This is a great dish for leftover chicken. Because then you just shred it up. Or if you have a rotisserie, you just shred it up. And you can skip a few steps. You can also replace chicken with turkey since Thanksgiving is coming up. And it will be just fine. Don't worry, all this stuff is going to cook down. Haven't made up my mind if I want to cook the rice in with the chicken and all that, or if I want to cook it separate. I'm going to be cooking some rice separate anyways. But rice, just like barley or anything else, is going to continue to soak up whatever you have, in the pot that you store it in. And some people will cook the rice separate, like in a little bit of broth, and add it to it later. That way they can store it separately. And when you take it out, you just add your rice to the soup, and then you heat it up for your leftovers. If you're going to be eating it all, it doesn't matter. But as y'all know, I take this stuff on the road with me. And I have to pick up in the morning in New Orleans. And then come back and then go to Michigan. So no alcohol tonight. Because I have to drive. You can cut these up smaller too if you want, but as long as it fits on a spoon, you're good. You vote for separate, That means I have to get an extra pot. You want to make me work more? But we can do that. I've only got 3 working burners, 2 that work good, and 1 that kind of works. So I have to work within that. We're going to add the garlic. And you can use, like, out of the little can, the minced garlic, stuff like that if you want. About a tablespoon would be about what that is. I just like fresh garlic. So that's what I use.
HEB, Central Market, and the Apple Country Fair. A few different places.
Yes. The Central Market's the better. That's the organic one. She was telling me about the broth over there. Because we are going to be adding chicken broth to it. You can use stock. You can use bone broth. You can use all kinds of things. You can use bouillon. Nothing is set in stone like most anything that I cook. Feel free to play around with it. Feel free to play around with anything. Fresh basil. That's a teaspoon. I love when these things don't want to open. That's always great. About a half teaspoon of mustard. Ground mustard. Mustard powder, whatever you want to call it. We have parsley. Oh, hold on, let me add this over here. I'm gonna add the parsley one. Yeah, I'll add that. Half a teaspoon of parsley. I always cook the rice with everything else. Well, it depends. If you're storing it, there can be problems because your rice is going to keep soaking up all of your juices. And then you end up with a bunch of swollen rice and not really any juice. So that would be why you would want to do that and cook it separate. Oregano, HEB. Much of their stuff I use how to sponsor me. And then time. Bunch of time on my hands here. That doll was moving again. Also, have your broth, whatever you're using, at least some of it ready to add to this real quick. And it will help you out. This time, we are not cutting them up first. We're just adding it to it. And wash my hands. We're just sort of cooking them in the seasoning for a minute before we start adding some more stuff. Coughing. My debate is because of etouffee that I'm going to make. So I need rice that's not cooked in broth for that. Oh yeah, I'll take her head off. There you go. You look. That is a measuring cup. That is 1/2 of a cup. Or 125 milliliters. And look. Here's another one. 1/4 cup, 60 milliliters. It's a measuring cup. Leave that cat alone. And something I did forget to add. Doesn't matter that much. Black pepper. and probably about a teaspoon of soy sauce. Seasons can't make up their mind down here. We got roses in bloom outside. If you're watching over there on Rumble, leave a comment. I see Krabby did over there. NKJO. Awesome. Thank you. You can leave Rumbles over there too. That'd be awesome. I still haven't made enough money to pull anything out. You gotta make $50. I haven't made $50 yet. I've got like $8, $7, $8. I make anywhere from like 5 cents to a quarter on a video. It's a small channel. But I don't have a lot of followers. I don't have a lot of anything. So it's kind of to be expected. What I was saying about having it ready. This is like HEB's organic stuff right here. And this is chicken broth. You can use stock. You can use all sorts of things. This is what I'm using. And here in just a minute, we are going to add this to the pot. And we are going to move it to the back burner. And we're going to start on something else. You can also do this in a crock pot, and if you want to cook it slower, the slower you cook it, the more tender your chicken is going to be. So if you start this like after lunch and you cook it for like 5 or 6 hours on like low, that's probably the best. We're also getting juices from the chicken. I just cook it like that for a little bit. And for the cornbread, I'm just going to use this. Not much. It's a mix. 2/3 a cup of milk, or half a cup for muffins, and 1/3 cup of vegetable oil or melted butter. I'll be using butter. And 1 egg. So, what I have this out here for. Cut that off about right there. Well, a little below it. And that's about 1/3 cup of butter. That's why I like using these. They're marked. And this is live, so it takes a little while. M. Gabriel, how are you doing? How much rice do I want to cook? I don't know if I need this just yet. Get enough juice in there, I could add it to it. It's a good leaf. I'll put 2 of them in there. These are bay leaves. I don't have my heat up real high. I have it about medium. Like I said, if you cook the chicken too fast, it'll get tough, and you do not want to do that. So this is going to cook a little bit longer, and this is what I'm using for the etouffee. Zatarans. And you need a pound of seafood. I'm going to use shrimp. You can use crab meat. You can use mud bugs. You can use whichever you want. And it says mix 2.5 cups of water, etouffee base mix, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and 2 tablespoons of butter, in a 3-quart saucepan until well blended. I am going to be using another pot like this. And this is just an easy way to do it, so that y'all can see if you want to make it yourself and don't want to go through the trouble of chopping up garlic and bell pepper and onion and everything else and making your own roux and your own base. You can buy one of these if you have it in the store. Zatarans is pretty good. But I would suggest getting your shrimp already peeled and deveined and all that good stuff. I can smell it. I'm going to stir it around. That will work. One quart of chicken broth. How much am I going to need for the rice? Get another one. Might want to start the rice first before I add any more, so I can measure it better. Where is my measuring cup? Here we go. Actually, this gotta work out. I'm I'm going to do a cup of rice. And 2 cups of broth. That'll work. Sorry for the squeal. That'll work. That burner's not too great. And then I'll put the other 2 cups, because this is a quart, into here. And that will be perfect. Move this to the back burner. The rice to a boil. What do I want to do next? I might have to make a bunch of cornbread. I have a pan, have a nonstick pan. I'll probably still spray it anyways. Just because OCD. I need a bowl to mix. That we have. A spoon, that'll work. I take most of this. And I just drop that. That's not going to be pretty, but it'll work. And I can melt it. Actually, I'll put the rest in there just to make sure. And I have measuring cups so I can measure. There we go. And I'm going to need 1 egg. I know I should have got that ready. But I didn't. So sue me. One egg. And here's the milk. How do I want to do this? There's an egg. That'll work. Yep. That's a third cup. Well, just a little more. And I need more space. The butter cuts better when it's hard. Let them some breaks. I'm usually not going off of a box. I'm usually going off of me. But if the box says something, that is what we will do. And there's the butter. Oh yeah, need to preheat the oven. Might help to take a few things out. Just possibly. Because my kitchen is small, my cast iron goes in there. Preheat it to 375. And now it says half a cup of milk for muffins. Yes, I'm going to use the same measuring cup. It's not going to matter. There we go. I wonder what kind of milk I'm using. This HEB Utopia. Whole milk, because I can't stand 2%. I don't know if any of y'all like 2%. We need to lower the boil and cover the rice. Like I said last week, don't throw the box away. You might need to look at it. Now that my hands are all slippery, it's not going to work out well. I'm just going to cut it open. Yeah, let's get the lumps out. Weird, I thought it was going to make more. Rinse this off. I always do that if it's been in the cabinet for a while. If you've ever cleaned your air filter for your air conditioner, there is dust in the air. When I rinse things off, wipe them down, even if they're clean. I know this is non-stick. Lower that boil down on the back. But I'm still going to spray it. Just Pam. There you go. I don't know how many of these this is going to make. Probably not a whole lot. But that is fine. And if you make a mess, that is fine too. Nothing has to be perfect. It's a little bit too much. There we go. Leave a little bit of room. That'll work. Like I said, you make a mess, don't worry about it. You're cooking. So that happens. There's probably an analogy to life in there somewhere. And that will work. Shake it a little bit, just level them out. And there we go. I'm going to say about 15 minutes. And I have my timer. Little ladybug timer. I can catch up on the chat. Getting math in there. Yeah, once it gets down to the tablespoons, I sort of lose the measurement. I kind of go by the stick, if that makes any sense. I'd already cut this stick. It messed me up a little. I was about a tablespoon off. Not quite. Oh, boil back here. It's got the chicken in there. Still burning. Sit up. There we go. and throw this away and move on to the next. This one will be the Zatarand. And this I will need to make more rice for. Charger still here, about to throw some stuff in the air fryer. Coolness. Doesn't say how much tomato paste to use with it. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, 2 tablespoons tomato paste, 2 tablespoons butter. Cool. And 2.5 cups of water. I'm not used to going from boxes, but I'm trying some of them. So I will need to clean my measuring cup out. Or find another. One or the other. This is a low budget operation. And I have 2 cups of water ready. No, there's one more. That is 2. Where did I put that other butter? Ah, here it is. Uh, 2 tablespoons of butter. Don't worry, the pan's clean. It's just old. This pan here was artist pot there. That was one of Amy's grandmother's pots. And it's actually kind of hollow and it holds heat really well. Tomato paste. That's what I'm forgetting. About 2 tablespoons. Mix that in there. Just had a spoon. Stir until there are no more lumps. This rice should be close. Just about. Get down low. And we're supposed to cook that for about 10 minutes. We got about 4 left on the cornbread. So I'm going to wait for the rice for that one. I am going to need a spot to put it. In my tiny kitchen. I'm going to need is a towel or something. I get another spatula. I do not want that to stick. we are supposed to cover and simmer. I don't know about cover at the moment. I don't know where the lid is. I do need to get a towel real quick for the cornbread. Hold on. I need a towel. Okay, found a towel. The peak. Oh, those are looking good. But just so you can always look back at them. Don't throw your boxes away yet. Good Lord. That is the cornbread. And the other stuff you see there is the pan. After it's been 375 for like 15 minutes. Oh, this is going to want to stick. Keep turning it down. I feel like that should have some more something. I saw that lid. I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. I knew it was somewhere. We have the lid. I almost feel like there should be more to it. That is shrimp. Deveined. It's everything. Little cold, but that will change. These are supposed to be. Yeah, they are. We're good. Ten to 15 minutes, and this rice here should be done. Close. Because I need to make some more rice. That burner's a little screwy. Now you can take the chicken out when you're done, and you can shred it and put it back in. Or you can kind of leave them in chunks, which I will probably do. That is not the burner to have rice on. See this one light. Nope. Not enough to do anything. Oh well, worth a shot. So who all's out there? Let me check my other comments. My phone die again. Again. Again with the phone dying. About 10 more minutes, this should be done, but I need to make some more rice. Where is my measuring cup? A measuring cup. Here's a measuring cup that will work. Here is a pot. How much rice do I want to make? Cut. I didn't put a bunch of salt in the back one because the broth has a lot of salt in it. That one is definitely getting salt. Perfect stick. See, that one's not very good. We are making rice. I'm trying not to burn the etouffee. Who else still out there? So I got 6 people watching. And thank you if you're still out there. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. I would appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Every little bit helps. If you have the time, you can leave that chicken on the back burner. Keep it on low. And just keep it on a real low boil for about 4 or 5 hours. And that would be awesome. We're not going to do that tonight. Once it's done, which is probably technically done now, go ahead and dish it up so I can move on to other things. So we're watching water boil. So what are y'all up to? So I get my Rumble back up. Turn the volume down. Two people still watching on Rumble, apparently. Cool. And now it's getting all the notifications. On my phone. No, I saw your comments on there. My phone died. I've got Rumble up on my phone. Like for some reason, to have the Rumble chat up, it drains my phone way too quickly. I see your comments though. And we are going to turn that down. And probably do this old school. That burner is screwy, but I need these. This is just about done. So we're waiting on rice. Snow and ice on the roads in the morning. What's going to leave a mark? Charger, what are you saying is going to leave a mark? I have a hot point. I'm not sure what year it is. It's somewhere between 30 and 40 years old. I'm not sure what the actual model is. It was in the house when we bought the house. There we go. So that's for one dish. Yeah, it's pretty old. And we need the rice to be actually cooked. We don't want, quoting Tommy Boy, okay. Yeah, my uncle was doing that with me. But what was he saying? I think he was saying something about fat girl in a little coat. Talking about if I got on a grom or something like that. I would not look right on a grom or navy or any of that. I'm too big. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I like the tall dirt bikes. I can flat foot them. And stir this again. I will say if you use the Zatarain's stuff for the etouffee, keep stirring it, checking on it, because it will stick very easily. So that's another thing I'm doing. I'm trying this stuff out. If you want to make it easily without doing a whole bunch of stuff, here's how you can do that. They've already got it all done for you. You can spice it up with a little more. And I'm also filling the time between cooking the main dish that I'm cooking. And if y'all like me doing this, let me know, leave a comment. And because cooking these live, instead of cooking, 2 or 3 things of the same dish, I'm filling it with some other stuff because it takes a little bit of time. So to fill that time in between the main dish that I'm cooking, which is the chicken and rice, I'm doing the cornbread and I'm doing the etouffee. So it's filling that gap in between, getting something else. And then I also have extra food, something else to eat while I'm on the road. So it's a win-win for me. I want to drop them. They did come out easy, so that's awesome. I'm going to cut one of these open with the wrong kind of knife to do that. Like I said, this is a low budget operation. I'm going to put some butter on my cornbread. So you can see right there. That is going to go here. What dish do I want to use for that etouffee? Actually, this will work for that etouffee. I'll just put it here with some cornbread. That will work. Just my stove is taken up by everything else right now. I can make a mess and I can eat cornbread. Good chat. Yeah, please show everything I cook. Awesome, awesome. You don't mind the box stuff in between, do you? Because number one, I can try out some of these box dinners. Things like, well, it's like half scratch. What do you call it? Instead of making the roux and everything, you got a box. And I can try it out, and you might have an idea if you like it. And it's a lot easier than going completely from scratch, like I'm doing with the dish on the back burner there. And the cornbread, by the way, is good. I give it 2 thumbs up. Krusty's honey cornbread. I made muffins, but you can put it in a square pan too, or a round one, whatever. My grandmother always used a round pan, like a cake pan kind of thing. Well, if you see that in the store, it's pretty good. I would use it. Yeah, and also some people just don't have the time to do completely from scratch, and the box dinners are a little cheaper. I'm about to put this rice in a bowl so I can open that space up. But I'm eating my cornbread first. And we got Krabby over there, MKJO on Rumble, saying that you watch shows where they make an entire meal versus one dish. Yes. Kind of what I'm doing though, except I'm making 2 entire meals here. The chicken and rice is 1 meal. The etouffee is another. Which I do a lot, as well, y'all have watched my channel. I do a lot of 1-pot meal kind of things. Well, that's more due to my occupation, which is truck driver. Where's something I can put that into? Just put it to the side for now. That'll work. And that'll work. Just because I need to move this out of the way. I am still live. I'm getting close to the end though. I'm making room on the stove. That cornbread turned out really good. Okay, that is out of the way. That thing's too hot. I'm gonna have to set it somewhere. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Here's the etouffee. And I'm going to dish up some rice. Or you can pour it on the plate and put the rice on top of it, which I think is actually what you're supposed to do. But it don't matter. See, it don't matter. Just pour it over the top. Shrimp etouffee, cornbread. Sorry about that. Anyways, shrimp etouffee and cornbread. I'll try this, and then we are going to do the soup. If it goes down the right pipe. And it's pretty good. I don't think I've cooked that. I may have cooked something similar. I'd have to look it up. I do not know what we're responding to. Awesome. That's how I get your shrimp already peeled and deveined and all that good stuff. If it's still a little frozen, it ain't gonna matter because it's gonna thaw real quick when you put it in there. They were still just a little bit frozen. I got them from HEB today. And the etouffee is good. That right there is a meal. Of course, you're probably gonna dish out more to yourself, you know. Or if you're putting it on a plate for your family, that sort of thing. I dropped some on my skirt. Oh well. I look all Pentecostal at the moment. I got my hair back, a headband, a shirt that I got from the Lone Star Raleigh, a full-length denim skirt. So I look Pentecostal as hell at the moment. And sandals. Worn out sandals. I need to buy some sneakers. That is the etouffee. Now, I need to figure out a way to switch these. Probably clean out that spoon. Put it here for the moment. Where did I put the lid? I know I had a lid, but then she came in here. So I do not know where I put the lid now. I have to move this. This is how I have to do it. Swap it around that way. Clean my spoon off. is not a fancy restaurant, so I can get away with a few things. Just a few. And the chicken just breaks up. It's all nice and soft and tender. And that is chicken and rice. Just keeps moving things. She gets mad that I'm on here too long. That's awesome. If you want to add a garnish, you can put parsley on top. And that would make a good garnish. But as you can see, chicken and rice. And that is hot. And it tastes really good. So that was 4 stalks of celery, 4 carrots, the skinnier ones in the pack, 3 cloves of garlic, 3 cloves of garlic, a large sweet onion, 1.5 quarts of chicken broth. We put in there 6 of the boneless, skinless chicken thighs. The seasoning was a teaspoon of basil, 1/2 teaspoon of oregano, thyme, and ground mustard. And did we put parsley? I think I put parsley in there too. And let me see. A 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, about a teaspoon of soy sauce, and you can add hot sauce as well. You can add like Tabasco sauce. And the dog's bowl keeps catching my foot. I move it to the other side and he moves it over here. If you want it a little spicier though, you can add like Tabasco or what have you to your taste. You can add salt to it, taste it. If you think it needs some more salt, add some salt. But the broth that I was using has plenty of salt in it. I'm trying to cut back, even though I'd like to add some more. But you might want to add a teaspoon of salt to it as well. For most people, I think a teaspoon of salt would come out about right. And there you go. We have etouffee, shrimp etouffee, cornbread, and we have chicken and rice. And hopefully you enjoyed it. Also, if you cook the shrimp too high a temperature for too long, it'll get kind of rubbery and stuff too. So you don't want that up on too high of a heat when you put the shrimp in there. You don't want it overcooked. But hopefully y'all enjoyed that. And I'm going to dish all this stuff up into Tupperware containers so I can take it to work with me. Like I said, I've got to pick up in New Orleans at 9 a.m. So 12 hours I've got to pick up in New Orleans. And then come back to Houston area, drop that trailer off, pick up another trailer loaded, and head for Michigan. I will be in Michigan on Thanksgiving. So I will not be home for Thanksgiving. Oh God. Thank God those things come with Tabasco. The only one that I really can't stand is anything with eggs in it. That, like, what was it? The vegetarian omelet bullshit thing. I can't stand that. Some of them are pretty good though. He's talking about MREs if you can't see the comments for some reason. I mean, it's not like fine dining, but in a stale bread, half stale bread. And if you're preppers and you think everything's gonna go to hell and back and you're gonna live off of MREs, I would suggest you have some other food. Because you don't want to live off of just those for a long time. That is not going to be good for your belly. Have some real food that you can cook. Have things like rice and bouillon, something, you know, you can store. All this stuff that I use, broth and stock and all that, you can use bouillon to do the same things. Have spices on hand, at least salt and pepper. If you can add, like, you know, oregano and all that sort of stuff to it, I'd say have like oregano, marjoram, salt, pepper. If you can get some like dried parsley, chives, caraway seeds. It's not a whole lot. You don't have to buy the expensive stuff. You can buy the cheap store brand. And there's things that you can make that our species has survived off of for a long time. Because people think of, oh, you've got to get through the winter. Well, it's not necessarily the winter, it's the spring, because you got to plant stuff and it's got to come back and all that. So fermenting your food doesn't take much to do that. And of course, we ferment our beer. That's another thing that'd be good to know how to make for numerous reasons. But like cabbage, you know, you go around the world and everybody has a fermented kind of cabbage that they eat. And that's just the weight of your cabbage and a 2% salt brine. And you ferment it. And oh yeah, MREs have a lot of calories. That is good. But But anyways, knowing how to do stuff like that, which will help your digestive health, would be good if you're really into prepping. That and the spices and the extra things you're going to get out of that. Have some salt that's not iodized. Have the iodized salt because you need iodine, but for doing things like that, you don't want the iodized salt. I was thinking more about keeping yourself regular on the MREs. You want some other food to go with it. It's got plenty of calories and all that good stuff. It's the other problem. You had pickled cabbage for one of your sides. Awesome. It's something I plan on doing here in probably the next month or two, is making some sauerkraut. A lot of the stuff you get in the store doesn't really have the probiotic quality to it because it's either soured with chemicals instead of a natural fermenting process, or they pasteurize it. At which point they're going to kill all the good bacteria, which, like I was saying, if you're a prepper and you're thinking of that sort of thing, you're going to want that good bacteria. You don't want to be having stomach problems. Yes, drink lots of water. Hello, Shangy girl. How are you doing? I ought to cook some of your recipes just to try them out. I saw you cooking a while back. And Ghost Shadow there is correct. If you're eating a lot of MREs, you need to drink a lot of water. He knows exactly why I was saying that about the belly. Which is another thing. I cycle through my water, and I've got basically one closet that I put like bottled water and stuff in. And I cycle through it. And you're not going to be pulling from the bottom all the time. I use one stack down, and then I refill it. While I'm refilling that, I use the other stack down. Because water will go bad. Strangely enough, it will. And I keep quite a bit. And just from, I've been without water and electricity for weeks after hurricanes, just even natural disasters, being prepared. You should have enough dry goods and water in your house that you could survive for at least a month in a way to cook it, you know? I've got a Coleman dual fuel that I can cook just about anything I want to cook with that Coleman dual fuel. You may have a grill outside. If you have a gas grill, how much gas do you have? If you have propane for your house, for your stove, you know, keep that up there. That'll help out a lot. But having a way to make a fire and boil water in a pot is crucial. And the world doesn't have to go to shit, you know, the society doesn't have to fall, any of that, which I don't think society's ever actually going to fall. We have a long history of wars and nations rising and falling and all that, and you never really fall. Even in the Dark Ages, it wasn't as bad as people tend to call it. It's just someone new took over. What's more realistic is something like Katrina or something like the power grid goes down, something like that. That is more realistic. And I've done FEMA lives for disasters and stuff like that. That's really, you need to at least be prepared for that. Having your own well is awesome too, but do you have a way to pump that well if you have no electricity? Because that's the other thing too. Why is this thing beeping? And you should have a way to do that, to get the prime back, to do what you need to do. As long as you can pump it without electricity, you're good. I mean, I know there's generators and all that, but with what most people are preparing for, generator is a short-term option. Generator is for Hurricane Ike hit and I didn't have power for 5 weeks. But if the gas station doesn't have power, you're not getting gas from the gas station because their pumps run off of electricity. One will run on any oil. That is awesome. I'll be putting French fry grease in there. That guy in Denver had a Scout that would run off of French fry grease. That was pretty cool. Which is the whole point in a diesel engine. It was originally to run off of anything. And we came up with the fuel we liked using for it because we have all this kerosene and we've got number 2 fuel oil and now we call that diesel, but the whole point was to run off of anything. There are still a few vehicles that do that. See, you didn't have to shred it as long as it's soft enough. Oh yeah. Oh, the other thing too. If you have a gas stove, unless it's really old, like a really ancient old, and your power goes out and you think you're going to heat your house with the oven, you're not going to do that because the oven's not going to work. You'll get the top burners to go and you can light them, but you're not going to get the oven. So yeah, I grew up poor. I know all about heating the house with the oven. That and from time to time we'd have a wood stove that we actually cooked Thanksgiving dinner on. Wasn't meant for cooking. It was just a big cast iron wood stove for heating the house. And we figured out a way to cook Thanksgiving dinner on it because it was the only way we could cook anything. But always have water stockpiled. I know a lot of y'all stockpile ammunition. Hell, I do too. I got plenty, and there's never enough, so I'm always buying more. But you need water. Make sure you have a good stockpile of water. Think about how much water do you go through in a week? However much water. Think about the bottles of water you buy when you're out. Think about the drinks that you buy. Oh, so you buy 2 Cokes a day and a bottle of water, and your house, you go through one of those big 40-something things of bottles of water. Add all that together and figure out how much of that you're going to need for a month at least, and have at least that on hand. But then On top of that, you're going to need water for cooking. So if you can have a few gallons of them, just gallon jugs of water, top of the closet or what have you that you can use for cooking, that helps too. And you're going to have to cycle them out. You're going to have to use them for things. So if you get in a habit of using the things that you stockpile and cycling them out, it does pretty good. Yeah, I've got more ammo than NEA too. Yeah, I've got a walk-in gun safe. So yeah, I got to get back in there though. I need another safe because I'm at a point right now, in order to get in there, I open up the door, I have to start grabbing things and moving them out and setting them in the middle of the room so that I can get to so I can walk in and get to what I want, and half the time what I want for some reason isn't something in the front, it's something in the back, and I've just got to move too much stuff out of the way to get to it. So I need another safe to start putting stuff in. So, and yes, I had a walk-in safe long before Yankee did. I think Yankee's chat's coming on. That's what I was getting the notification for. The only difference is in my safe, you can't put a desk in the middle of it. And have a chat because there's no room. Mine has a lot more arms in it than his does. You know how YouTube is on that stuff now, or I would show more of them. I've shown them before, or I've shown some of them before. I was trying to figure out a way I could start, like cleaning them or something on camera, but which technically you're supposed to be allowed to do for maintenance or what have you, but sometimes people can get away with showing one. Sometimes they shut down your whole stream, so who knows? You have empty 5-gallon containers to fill up in a jiffy. Yeah, that works. Also, fill your bathtub up. That's something that we do when a hurricane's coming, is you fill your bathtubs up with water. You just go ahead, fill them all the way up. And then you got that water as well. And if you got some 5-gallon, because, think flushing toilets, stuff like that, you'll need more water. One of the things I use 5-gallon containers for, if you have a lid for it, like Lowe's, Home Depot, get the bucket, get the lid, and it's something you can move with quick. I fill that up with my supplies. So I have rice, I have beans, I have bouillon, I've got all that kind of stuff in sealed 5-gallon containers. And you have to cycle those containers out. You have to use the stuff, which is another thing. Stockpile things you're actually going to eat or that you like, that you cook with. It'll be a lot better for you. But it makes it easy to move all the stuff around, makes it easy to stack them up, makes it easy if you had to grab your supplies and go real quick. All you have to do is grab a bucket or two, bam, bam. Kind of like some of those, what is that, Mountain Home or what have you, has that bucket you can take with you, or, their stuff comes in. But it's a 5-gallon bucket. And I put other stuff in there. I have like tea bags, I've got coffee, I've got rice, I've got beans, I've got Spam, I've got seasonings, I've got all kinds of stuff in there. And it works out pretty good. Let's go Shadow saying here. It's an interior room of the house. Replace it with sheetrock with 2 layers of fiberglass. reinforced concrete, board wall studs, 8-inch centers. The door to get in is a fire security door. Yes. Yes. A dehumidifier is great too. And a vent is great too. And at the point that you're putting a rebar and all that stuff through it, if somebody's got the time, they're still going to get into it. Doesn't matter what you do. And let's say everything did fall, or the government's collecting everybody's guns or what have you. Not much you can do unless there's like at least a partial military coup, because they're just going to blow you in place and move on. You think you're doing good. They're all back there like, hey, they can't even get close. Then you're dead. Okay, you there? Let me catch the chat again. This tent wood heaters. Yeah. Oh, if you look at some of the Canadian channels, especially the ones that go out camping, I can't remember his name. I might post it on my Discord. He's on my channel. He's got some good stuff in there. Those are great. But I'm going to have to go ahead and shut this down. Thank you all for watching. I got a crock pot back there, or Amy does, with some stuff in it that she needs to get to. And in order to get to it, I have all my cables and wires for the computer and the camera and everything run over the crock pot. So there's no way to get into that without messing with all of that stuff. So I will catch y'all later. Thank you so much for watching. And I should be cooking something else next week. So thank you. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. Those likes help me out. Share if you can. And I'm going to go ahead and end this. So thank you so much. And bye-bye.